Well, my goodness, it's been a rough couple of days around here. Finally, today, things kind of look like it is back to normal. I'm sure everybody all over the planet is aware that Florida was just hit by Hurricane Ian, and originally we were pretty close to the track. We were fortunate, unlike many others to the south of us, that the track moved and cut in across the state a lot earlier than was suspected. But around here, we got some rain. We got a lot of wind. We lost our power. Other than that, my area seemed to fare okay. My son that lives in St. Pete, him and his wife and new baby, they took off and went to North Carolina. And then when I talked to them on the phone, I'm like, y'all need to hightail it out of North Carolina because now the storm's coming up that way. So they ran from the storm twice. Everybody else stayed put. They just stayed in their homes. And like I said, we were fortunate. So around here, you don't have much of a choice for like internet service. It's like through the phone company and you get a whopping speed of a 5. Or you can get satellite. And most of the satellite companies, they limit your data usage and it's very expensive. So when I heard that Starlink was going to be coming to our area, I signed up for it right away, did my deposit, waited over a year. Finally, in January, I got my Starlink dish, and then all the trees were in the way because we have these really big, tall, live oaks and pines. And, it was a mess. So I paid a ton of money to have trees trimmed, and we mounted it up on the roof, up the chimney, and, 4 foot higher than, as high as we could get it, without having like a fire truck come out and put it on the top of one of our 70-foot tall trees. Well, then we get an email from Starlink saying, their dishes can only handle 65 mile an hour winds. You need to take it down and bring it inside. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So that's what we did today is Friday. On Tuesday afternoon, I believe it was Tuesday. All my days are blending together. On Tuesday afternoon, John got up on the roof and he disconnected the dish and we brought it inside. So now we're cut off with no internet, which meant no TV, nothing. It's like, it makes me crazy. I feel like I'm cut off from the world. So we also have a regular digital antenna, and we were able to pick up one news channel so we can keep an eye on the weather, what's going on, what can we expect. But being where we live, nobody ever reports on our area, so you're still kind of in the dark. And we made it through, it must have been 11 o'clock at night when I finally fell asleep, and we still had power. But when I woke up in the morning, we didn't have any power, and I was super bummed because now everything is cut off. If we don't have electric, we don't have water, we don't have phone, we don't have, obviously, the electric, and no internet. You're cut off from the world. So I'm awake by myself. Everyone else is still asleep. And I take the little transistor radio out onto the porch. It is pitch black. It is so quiet. And I'm just sitting there listening to the radio. I was able to find a radio station to hear what the heck is going on. I mean, I absolutely could not go back to sleep. So I did that for about 2.5 hours. Finally, about 7:30-ish in the morning, it was light enough to be able to see what was going on outside. And I'm like, okay, the trees are still standing. I'm good. I feel okay with that. And, I don't see any down power lines like we did the last time. Like when Irma came through, our whole road, there must have been 4 trees going across the road back and forth. And we went without any of the services for over 2 weeks. So I was like, okay, cool. Power company this year spent a ton of money having branches trimmed away from all the power lines. And I think it really paid off because this time we went 14 hours. So it had to be about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm like, we got to go find some hot food because we can't cook anything. And I'm like, I don't want no canned raviolis. That's like only if I'm desperate, and I'm not that desperate. So Jenna and I, we went and we found a McDonald's that was open. We got some nasty hot food and some cold drinks, and we came home. We weren't sitting down for 5 minutes and the power came back up. I was so excited, but we still had to wait. We had to wait until the next day. I don't know. My days are getting mixed up. Okay, we still had to wait because the winds were still pretty high, and to put the satellite dish back up on the roof. I mean, we don't want to send John up there with wind gusts of 60 miles an hour and have him get blown off the roof. I mean, my goodness, it's not worth that. So late yesterday afternoon, he felt comfortable enough to be able to get up on the roof and put the dish back up. So then Jenna and I were super happy because now we feel connected to the world again. So that was great. And today, the weather is just absolutely gorgeous. I get up this morning at 64 degrees. I'm like, why can't it be like this all the time? The humidity is very low. And I know it won't last. Being Florida, tomorrow it'll probably be 95 degrees and nasty, hot, humid. I mean, what can you do? So, in all this free time that I had, couldn't watch TV or play on the internet or do anything other than, we played some card games to try and occupy some time. I had plenty of time to sit in and work on my mob heads. So I completed 5 of them. Plus I have a 6th one that I still have to put the little green border around. So today we're going to share the fox with you. And he's kind of cute. He was kind of hard to do because there's a lot of negative space. And it's like, well, what color would you use for the negative space? And I was like, well, I could use the green. But then I was like, no, I don't want the green. So the negative space, I tried to make it look like it might be if you're looking at his head, because we're doing mob heads, like you're seeing his back. So that was where I went with that. That's what I tried to do. So the colors that we use in the fox are light gray, white, black, orange, not like this bright crayon orange, kind of like a burnt orange, dark gray, very little. This is one of those ones where you could probably dig in your scrap bin and get some of the things out, like especially the white, the black, the blue, those type of colors. But there's no blue in this one. I used a terracotta color, which is from I Love This Yarn that I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It looks more like a rust than terracotta. But, they name their stuff weird. They all do, all the yarn companies. Fern green for the border. So we use a 6mm crochet hook for this entire project. And the stitches that you need to know how to do are obviously a chain stitch, a single crochet in the back bump of your chain, and a bobble stitch, which is 5 double crochets together. So if you are new to this project and you don't know how to do those stitches, this next segment, which does not show me making the fox, but does show how to do the stitches, it will show you all the stitches that you need to know how to do, including changing colors and the border. So let's take a look at that now. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is make a slip knot. Each one of the graphs, you will chain 16 plus 1 for a turning chain, so a total of 17. You will then turn and do a single crochet into the back bump. In 16 of the chains, you're going to skip the first one. You will back bump single crochet all the way across till you reach the end of the row. And when you get there, you should have 16. Okay, so I have 16. It should look like this. Both sides look nice. Makes it easier for when you add the border. So for the first bobble row, you will chain 3. Turn your work. And we're going to do 4 double crochets, incomplete double crochets, into the same stitch that our chain stitch attaches to. So you yarn over, go through the stitch, pull your yarn through, and go through 2 loops, leaving one on your hook. You now have 2. Yarn over, go through that same stitch, pull your yarn through, go through 2 loops. You now have 3. So you can do that 2 more times. We now have 4. So we need 1 more. And that makes 4. Okay, so we have a total of 5 loops because of our chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you want to yarn over and pull through all 5 of those loops. And the very next stitch, you do a single crochet. That single crochet is what gives you the nice pop-out bobble. That makes our pixel or our bit. So each bobble stitch after the first one in every row, you do 5 double crochets together, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. You can do that for a total of 5 times. So that was 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to yarn over, pull through all 6 loops. You had 6 on your hook because you had 1 loop remaining from the single crochet. Then you follow that up with a single crochet. And then repeat that for the next bobble. Yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. This is 3 and 4 and 5. See how we have 6 loops? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over and go through all 6 and follow that with a single crochet. And see how our pixels are popping out? Okay, so you'll do that all the way to the end of the row. When you get to the end of the row, your very last stitch is a single crochet. And it should look like this with 8 bobbles. Yes, it's going to curl up at first. As your work moves along and it grows, it flattens itself back out. So for the next row, which is the beginning of row 2, we do a single crochet, turn our work, and then we're going to place a single crochet in each stitch. When you do above the bobble, make sure you're only getting those top 2. Don't work down into this. You're going to put a single crochet into the single crochet and a single crochet into the top of the bobble all the way across. And when you make it to the end, you should have a total of 16 single crochets. So it should look like this. A row of single crochet all the way across. Then you will, for your next bobble row, you will chain 3, turn your work, and do the 4 incomplete double crochets into the first stitch. The first stitch meaning the same stitch that your chain 3 is connected to. Pull through all 5 loops and follow up with a single crochet. So when you get to the part where you're going to do a color change, you want to do it in the single crochet. So pull your working yarn forward. Bring in your new color, leaving a nice tail so you can work it in. And you're going to complete that single crochet with the new color. And, pull it snug, not super tight, but pull it down snug. And we're going to work over top of those. So we do a bobble because our color change was in the single crochet. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over, pull through them all, and a single crochet into the next stitch. Now this particular one has 2 of the black bobbles. So do the second one. It's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over, pull through all 6. Go to do my single. Now I need to go back to my other color, and I carried it with me. I don't always carry it with me, but these are such a small surface that when I only have 1 or 2 blocks of one color, I will carry the color with me if that is what comes next. Okay, so I'm going to pull my black forward, bring up my other color, complete the stitch with that, and we're going to tighten it down. Just make it a little snug. And then we go right into the bobble stitch. Single crochet. Okay, so that looks nice and clean from the front side. Oh, I didn't bring my scissors with me. Okay, so I'm just going to let that fall forward there and move on to my next bobble. Okay, so depending on which pattern you're working on, you're starting to see it take shape. You will continue this process for all 8 rows, and then we will come back for the border. Okay, once you've completed your block, you want to put a border around it. Each of the blocks will have a border just to make them easier to sew together. So you're going to start wherever you would like. And some people like to start in corners, some people like to start on the actual edge of it itself. So you're going to single crochet into each stitch across the top. And each stitch across the bottom. When you get to the corner, it is a single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet into the same space, chain 2. We're going to work past the bobble and into the stitch where the bobble and the single crochet meet on the side. Sometimes it can be tough like that one was. Okay, chain 2, skip over the bobble and come into that single crochet. That one was a little easier. Chain 2, skip over the bobble, go into the single crochet. So that is how you handle both sides. And the corners are single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Across the bottom and the top is just simply a single crochet into each stitch. The second round of the border is double crochet in each stitch across the top. Okay, the corner gets 5 double crochet. That's 2, 3, 4, and 5. When you come down the sides where you did the chain 2 gets 2 double crochets, and the single crochet gets 1 double crochet. So 2 double crochets into each chain 2 space and 1 double crochet into the single crochets. So you will work that all the way around, the top and bottom, 1 double crochet in each stitch, all 4 corners, 5 double crochets, and the bobble sides where the chain 2s are, 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, 1 double crochet into the single crochet. And once you complete that second round, your block border is complete. So it's 1 round of the singles and chain 2s and 1 round of double crochets. And it looks pretty darn cool if you ask me. Okay, so I know some of you have already seen that clip probably 6 or 7 times, but we have to have it there for people who are just joining in and people that are new that don't know how to do those. So I add that clip into each one of the videos, mainly because it saves me a lot of time, rather than filming this, repeating the same stitch video after video after video. Use that one nice, clean, clear clip that explains how to do all the different stitches. So that's why that one looks the same all the time. And I guess I'll show you what the fox looks like now. Does anybody know what the fox says? Ha ha ha. Okay. All right. Well, here's the fox. Well, that does look like a bright orange on here. It is not a bright orange. I promise you, it is a burnt orange. That goes back to this log mode of filming with these cameras. Okay, so we have light gray at the bottom and the 2 corners there, white forming the little snout, I guess you would call it. The terracotta and the orange are his fur colors, white and black in the eyes. And up here, the ears, you're seeing like the inside of the ears. It's a white, or excuse me, it is a light gray and a dark gray. That's, the dark part where the ear canal goes. And this part up here is where I had to have negative space. So I did that to try and make it look like you're seeing his back. Instead of putting green in there, because our border is green. I didn't want to put green in here. I thought it would look confusing. But anyhow, that is the fox. That's how the stitches look, raised up, textured. It makes it look like that pixel or bit. He's cute. If you're wondering what the next mob head is going to be, if you click on this box right up here, it will take you directly there.